was really blessed to grow up in a loving environment, nurturing. I am the last person that you would have thought would have fallen into drug abuse. But it started with a guy, right? Like started with this guy that I fell for. I was on my own. I was kind of sheltered growing up. So now I'm on my own in the world, and things that my parents had said, oh, those are horrible, right? You try it a little bit and then you're like, oh, it's not that bad. So that's the best way I can explain how I got caught up in it. And I ended up being a full-blown heroin, crack cocaine addict for on and off for about 6 years. I started when I started playing around with like marijuana and pills when I was about 21, 22. And then by the time I was 23, I was shooting up heroin. And so again, it was on and off, like whenever the guy that I was with, because I was with him the whole time, he's the father of my first 2 kids, which they are my saving grace. But anytime he would be arrested, right, I could get cleaned up. So in some ways, looking back on it, yes, I do have an addiction to substances, but I was really addicted to the relationship, and it was the toxic relationship that I was most addicted to. And so, for this November will make 5 years that I've been clean and sober. It really does take changing your people, places, and things, they say, but it's more than that too. It's a daily mindset battle, especially for the first little while. I think about it every single day now, but there's still a mindset battle that comes with it.
I just love to hear, like, how did you go from such a journey from there to for quitting and staying clean for 5 years?
So the process was hard. I mean, the first thing I did was I got out of the situation I was in. It got to a point for me where I knew that I was either going to die or I was going to lose my kids to, the system. And my kids were my life. So I made the decision to up and leave. But when I came back to restart my life, I mean, it was just getting by minute at certain times. There was many times where, what is the purpose of living? You're in this dark, deep depression. Is my life ever going to be normal again? Like, what is normal? Because when you're in a deep addiction, life just becomes insanity, and your daily routines is really just insanity. So learning how to live a normal, so to speak, life is very weird and uncomfortable. And it's just, so that was a hard thing to face and to get through. But I literally just, you have to have a strong mindset of just doing it each day. And if you're in any type of recovery group, they tell you one day at a time. But for me, again, I literally had to remind myself one moment at a time. Like sometimes you'd watch the clock and be like, I got through one more minute. And support is so important. And I'm thankful I've had a support group. But if someone doesn't have a support group, I mean, go find one, go to a church, go to meetings. Like there are people out there that will support you, because nobody should feel alone in that, because it does take support. So that process was getting through that and staying focused on the ultimate goal, which was for me, not just to not keep using, right? That was a big goal, but to recreate a life for myself. So I very quickly got back into, finding a job, getting back on my feet, getting my own place, and staying busy with productive things. And that's really important. And then I think the third part to it is helping others. While you're going through that, you may think I have nothing to offer someone because I'm still healing and working on things. But if you can find ways, again, through a church or community outreach or something, to help others, it really boosts your self-confidence. And again, keeps you focused on something other than yourself, which is a huge help.
Because when you said, when you look at them, hey, you need to get out before them.
Yeah, I mean, my children definitely, had I not had them and felt like I was going to lose them, I probably would have stayed in that really toxic situation. So they're a huge reason. However, at the same time, I also used while I had my kids, and I was a bad mom for a while. And so having kids doesn't mean that you're not going to use or that you can stop as easily. It really still comes down to your motivation and your determination to do it for you. Like I did it for my kids, but I had to do it for me in order for it to stick.
So even though
I'm telling you,
Yeah,
Yeah, those type of, of eating fast food or going shopping or drinking
yeah,
soda, all of those things, they are a type of addiction. Like, granted, yes, they're viewed very differently between shooting up heroin and, eating a fast food burger.
I
But
know.
that's one of the things that I kind of teach in my course too, though, is that the mindset of it is
Mm,
pretty much the same. It's just a matter
yeah.
of what we're focused on and how much power we have to put behind it. But I have learned to apply so much of what I've learned in my recovery process to my everyday life and to anything that I want to change about myself or work harder at. A lot of the same principles come from what I learned through recovery.
So it's like how powerful our thoughts are and how we can change our life by changing our thought patterns.
Yeah, so with this specific topic, there's like a system that I've kind of
Mm,
created that I would love to share, with those that are listening, and it's on how to change your thoughts, because just saying change your thoughts, right, sounds easy, but it's just like, well, where do I
yeah,
begin? So I created this process where the first thing that you have to do is you have to acknowledge whatever thought that comes up, whatever thought or emotion. So if you're I don't know if this happens to you, but sometimes I'm driving down the road and suddenly I feel overwhelmed by whatever's going on around me, right? Or stressed out or whatever. So I have this feeling, and it's our nature for most of us to just try and like push it aside, right? And that's why a
yeah,
lot of us get caught up in addictions, because we just want to feel good. We want to get rid of negative emotions. If you have a negative emotion, you have to learn to acknowledge it and then to accept it. Do you acknowledge that it's there? Okay, I recognize you. I'm feeling this way, and then accept it. It's okay to feel upset, but it's okay to not be okay.
which I
Absolutely.
believe. Yeah,
And the trick with that is allowing yourself to feel that emotion and to sit with it, but not like long enough so that you're dealing with it, but not so much that you're pulling yourself back in depression. Because
yeah,
sometimes we can hold on to an emotion and then 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever many months. So I go through a process of acknowledging it, accepting it. Then we're kind of just going to flip around the thought or the emotion, right? So for me, for example, a lot of
mm,
the negative emotions that would come up in some ways, and this sounds probably crazy to outsiders, but I would miss certain parts of my past life, not like the drug use and stuff, but again,
yeah,
I was kind of addicted to the relationship,
yeah,
and so I would miss certain parts of that. So a lot of my emotions was like almost like longing or mourning for someone that hadn't died, right, that
yeah,
you knew was still alive. Now how do I flip it so that instead of mourning for it and feeling depressed about it, I can look back
yeah,
on it just as a memory. That was a time of my life that was, in a more positive light.
yeah. Learning
um,
from the past, isn't it?
Learning from the past,
Yeah,
exactly. So instead of mourning the actual loss of that, and I've lost many loved ones in my life, I
yeah,
understand that pain, but try and look back on those good times, right? So whatever it is
yeah,
that you're feeling, try to find the positive in it. And it can be hard, but that's like the practice. And then you release it, right? So
yeah,
you accept it, you acknowledge it, you accept it, kind of retrain the thought, and then you release it, you let it go, and you go about your day. And this may happen to you 20 times a day. Sometimes I do have days where I'm constantly going through this pattern, but I've learned that I've been teaching others this pattern. And it's really, again, it's not a quick fix, but if you can learn to practice it and put it in your daily practice, you can really learn to let go of a lot of those things that hold you down, because
yeah.
you're acknowledging it. You're not just pushing it under the rug.
Yeah, definitely. It's not like a one-day fix because these things, the past memory of yours, the trauma you had, the sorrow, sadness, everything, the anxiety, the fear for future because of your past, it's not going to go within a one day
Absolutely.
because the system, our brain, and everything is learned from the past years and years. So obviously, it takes months and could be years for a different person is different. For my same things to change, like because I lost my parents from the age of 14 and both
Oh,
of them died on within 90 days a time of period. And right now, if I lose someone, it's not going to be that hard compared to that time because the system and the pattern is gone because already lost loved ones. So I know how to process things right now better than before.
mhm.
Some people haven't lost anyone yet. They're probably 30 years old or 40 years old, and they never experienced that kind of loss. So for them, getting into the system could be take 5 years, 10 years. But obviously, if you improve yourself 1% a day, eventually you'll get there.